Captain Lee Hyun sat in his chair on the bridge of the UES Wanderer. The stars outside looked peaceful through the main screen. His ship was small compared to the big warships back on Earth, but it was perfect for exploring new places in space. The Wanderer had been his home for 3 years now, along with his crew of 11 other people. "Captain, we are getting close to the new system," said Kim Tae from his spot at the communications desk. He was young, but very good at his job. "The sensors show 3 planets that might be good for people to live on." Lee Hyun smiled. This was why he loved being an explorer. Finding new worlds was always exciting. "Very good, Kim Tae. Take us in slowly. Let's see what we found." Park Mina looked up from her engineering station. She was the best engineer Lee Hyun had ever worked with. Her hands moved quickly over the controls as she checked all the ship systems. "All systems are working fine, Captain. The new quantum drive is running perfectly." "Thank you, Mina." "Choi Yuna, what do your science sensors tell us about this system?" Choi Yuna was the ship's science officer. She was very smart and could find things that others missed. She studied the data on her screen with bright eyes. "Captain, this is amazing. The first planet has lots of water and good air. The second planet has huge amounts of rare metals that we need for our faster-than-light engines. The third planet looks like it has some kind of plant life." Lee Hyun felt happy. This could be a great discovery for Earth. Humans needed new places to live and new resources to help them grow stronger in the galaxy. "Start detailed scans of all 3 planets. Send the data back to Earth Command. They will want to know about this right away." The crew worked together like they had done many times before. The Wanderer moved closer to the planets, taking pictures and measurements. Everything seemed perfect. Too perfect. "Captain," Kim Tae said with worry in his voice, "I am picking up some strange signals. There are ships coming toward us, big ships." Lee Hyun stood up from his chair. "How many ships, Kim Tae?" "I count 12 ships, Captain. They are much bigger than us. They will be here in 20 minutes. Park." Mina checked her weapon systems, but the Wanderer only had small guns for protection against space rocks and pirates. "Captain, we are not built for fighting big warships." "We are not here to fight anyone," Lee Hyun said calmly. "We are peaceful explorers. Get ready to talk to them, Kim Tae. Maybe they just want to know who we are." The alien ships arrived faster than expected. They were dark and scary-looking, with sharp edges and big guns. The ships surrounded the little human vessel like wolves around a sheep. "Captain, they are trying to talk to us," Kim Tae said. He worked hard to make the universal translator work with their language. "The signal is not very clear, but I think I can understand some of it." A harsh voice came through the speakers. The alien words were translated into broken human speech. "Small ship, you are in Vorthak space. Surrender now, or be destroyed." Lee Hyun took a deep breath. This was not what he had hoped for, but he had trained for situations like this. "This is Captain Lee Hyun of the United Earth ship Wanderer. We are peaceful explorers from Earth. We did not know this system belonged to anyone. We mean no harm." The alien voice came back, sounding angry. "Earth. Never heard. You lie. No ship travels alone. Where is your fleet? Where are your weapons?" Choi Yuna whispered to the captain. "They think we are hiding something. They cannot believe that we came here alone." "We are telling the truth," Lee Hyun said into the communicator. "We are scientists and explorers. We have no fleet with us. We just want to study the planets and then leave peacefully." There was a long silence. Then the alien voice spoke again, even more angry than before. "Impossible. No species sends. Single ship so far. You scout for invasion. Prepare for interrogation. Surrender your ship now." Lee Hyun looked around at his crew. They all looked scared but ready to follow his orders. Park Mina had her hand on the engine controls, ready to run if needed. Kim Tae was trying to send a message back to Earth, but the alien ships were blocking their communications. "We will not surrender our ship," Lee Hyun said clearly. "We have done nothing wrong. We ask for safe passage to leave your space. The alien ships moved closer. Their weapons were now pointed directly at the Wanderer. Li Hyun could see that each alien ship was 10 times bigger than his small research vessel. Last warning, the alien voice said. Surrender or be destroyed. You have 1 minute to decide. Park Mina looked at her captain. The engines are ready, Captain. I can get us out of here, but it will be dangerous. Li Hyun thought quickly. His job was to keep his crew safe, but he also had a duty to Earth. If these aliens were hostile, Earth needed to know about them. Kim Tae, are you recording everything? Yes, Captain. Everything is being saved in our emergency beacon. Good. Mina, get us out of here. Full power to engines. Park Mina's fingers flew over her controls. The Wanderer suddenly shot forward, trying to escape between two of the alien ships. The aliens were surprised by the sudden move and started shooting, but they missed the small, fast human ship. We are clear of their formation, Park Mina said, but they are following us. And Captain, our long-range communications are damaged. We cannot call for help. Li Hyun sat back down in his chair. They had escaped for now, but they were trapped in hostile alien space with no way to contact Earth. The aliens thought humans were dangerous invaders, not peaceful explorers. Set course for the asteroid belt around the 4th planet, Li Hyun ordered. We need to hide and fix our communications. And crew, start working on that emergency beacon. If something happens to us, Earth needs to know what we found here. As the Wanderer raced toward the asteroids with alien ships chasing them, Li Hyun wondered if his small crew of explorers had just started something much bigger than they could handle. Behind them, the alien fleet was already calling for reinforcements, convinced that they had discovered the advanced scout of a dangerous new enemy. The peaceful exploration mission had become something else entirely. And neither humans nor aliens understood just how dangerous this misunderstanding would become. Grand Admiral Morthek stood in the command center of the Vorthak High Command. His scales were dark green, showing his high rank in Vorthak society. Around him, other officers worked at their stations, all of them looking worried. Show me the... Report again, Morthek said to his aide. The younger Vorthak officer brought up the images on the main screen. Admiral Kessitar encountered this single ship in Sector 7. The ship claimed to be from something called Earth. It refused to surrender and escaped our patrol. Morthek studied the pictures of the human ship. It was small and looked harmless, but he had been a military commander for 50 years. He knew that looks could lie. This ship traveled how far to reach our space? Based on the energy readings, at least 2,000 light-years, Grand Admiral. Maybe more. Morthek's eyes grew wide. No ship could travel that far alone unless it had very advanced technology. And they sent only one ship? That is what it appeared to be, Grand Admiral. But our sensors detected strange energy patterns from their engines, something we have never seen before. The Grand Admiral walked around the command center, thinking hard. In his long career, he had fought many wars for the Vorthak hegemony. He had learned that enemies often tried to trick them by appearing weak. No civilization sends a single ship across the galaxy unless they are very confident. This must be a scout ship. The real invasion fleet is probably coming behind it. His aide nodded. What are your orders, Grand Admiral? Send a message to all fleet commanders. I want the 3rd Strike Fleet assembled immediately. 200 ships, including our best battle cruisers and destroyers. If these humans think they can scout our territory without consequences, they are wrong. Meanwhile, the UES Wanderer was hiding in the asteroid belt around the system's 4th planet. Captain Li Hyun watched his crew work hard to repair their damaged communications system. The alien attack had broken their long-range transmitter, leaving them cut off from Earth. How are the repairs going, Mina? Li Hyun asked. Park Mina wiped sweat from her face. She had been working for 6 hours straight. The main transmitter is badly damaged, Captain. I can fix it, but it will take at least 2 days, maybe 3. Kim Tae looked up from his station. Captain, I am picking up a lot of alien communications. They are using military codes, but I think they are calling for more ships. Choi Yuna was studying the sensor readings from their encounter with the alien patrol. Captain, I have been looking at their technology. Their ships are powerful, but not more advanced than ours. The strange thing is how they reacted to us. What do you mean? Lee Hyun asked. They seemed genuinely surprised that we were traveling alone. Like the idea of a single ship going so far was impossible to them. I think they might have a very different way of exploring space than we do. Lee Hyun thought about this. Humans had always been bold explorers. Earth's history was full of brave people who sailed unknown oceans or traveled to new lands with just a few companions. But maybe other species were different. Maybe they only traveled in large groups. If that is true, Lee Hyun said slowly, then they might think we are the advance guard of a huge fleet. That would explain why they were so hostile, Kim Tae said. They think we are invaders. Park Mina stopped working on the transmitter for a moment. Captain, I have been thinking about our quantum entanglement drive. The energy signature is very unique. If their sensors detected it, they might have thought it was some kind of weapon. The quantum entanglement drive was new technology that let the Wanderer communicate instantly with Earth across any distance. It was still experimental, and most people did not understand how it worked. To aliens who had never seen it before, it might look like something dangerous. So they think we are scouts with super weapons, sent ahead of an invasion fleet, Lee Hyun said. No wonder they wanted us to surrender. Choi Yuna checked her long-range sensors. Captain, I am detecting more ship movements. Lots of ships. They are gathering at the edge of this star system. Lee Hyun felt a cold fear in his stomach. How many ships, Yuna? I count at least 50 ships so far, Captain, and more are arriving. Every hour. The crew of the Wanderer looked at each other with worry. Their small research ship was no match for even one military vessel, let alone 50. Mina, how much longer for the communications? Lee Hyun asked. At least another day, Captain. I am working as fast as I can. Lee Hyun made a difficult decision. Keep working on it, but also prepare the emergency beacon. If we cannot get a message to Earth the normal way, we need to make sure they know what happened to us. The emergency beacon was a special device that could send a short message across the galaxy using quantum entanglement. It only worked once, and then it was destroyed. Ships only used it when they were about to die. While the Wanderer's crew worked desperately to repair their ship, Grand Admiral Morthek was assembling the largest Vorthak fleet seen in decades. Ships arrived from across their territory. Heavy, cruisers with massive guns, fast destroyers, fighter squadrons, and support vessels. Status report, Morthek demanded as he boarded his flagship, the dominant Fang. 197 ships assembled, Grand Admiral. His fleet captain reported. All captains are ready for battle. Morthek looked at the display showing his fleet. It was impressive, enough firepower to destroy entire planets, but he was still worried. Any sign of more human ships? No, Grand Admiral. Just the one scout ship hiding in the asteroid belt. That proves they are waiting for their main fleet, Morthek said firmly. We will destroy their scout ship before reinforcements arrive. Set course for the asteroid field. Battle speed. The massive Vorthak fleet moved through space like a dark cloud of death. 200 warships carrying enough weapons to level continents, all focused on destroying one small research vessel with 12 human explorers. Back on the Wanderer, Kim Tae suddenly looked up from his sensors with terror in his eyes. Captain, the entire alien fleet is moving toward us. 200 ships. Lee Hyun felt his heart stop. 200 enemy warships against one small research vessel. There was no escape from odds like that. Mina, status on the emergency beacon? Ready? To transmit, Captain. All our data about this system and the aliens is loaded and ready to send. Communications? Still broken, Captain. I need at least 6 more hours. Lee Hyun looked around at his crew. They were all good people who had signed up to explore the galaxy and help humanity find new homes among the stars. They had never expected to face a situation like this. "Listen to me, all of you," Lee Hyun said quietly. "We knew when we became explorers that space could be dangerous. We represent the best of humanity, our curiosity, our courage, our desire to learn about the universe. If we do not make it home, we need to make sure Earth knows what we discovered here." The crew nodded, understanding what their captain was telling them. They were probably going to die, but their sacrifice would warn Earth about this hostile alien empire. "Yuna, is there anything beautiful about this system worth recording for Earth?" Lee Hyun asked. Choi Yuna smiled sadly as she looked at her sensor readings. "Yes, Captain. The planets here are some of the most beautiful I have ever seen. If humans could live here peacefully, it would be like paradise." "Then that is what we will tell Earth," Lee Hyun said. "We found something beautiful here, and we do not want these aliens to take it from humanity." The 200 alien warships continued their approach, ready to destroy what they believed was the greatest threat their empire had ever faced. They had no idea they were about to attack peaceful explorers whose only weapons were curiosity and hope. The Vorthak fleet emerged from hyperspace like a deadly storm. 200 warships spread out in perfect formation, surrounding the asteroid field where the human ship was hiding. Grand Admiral Morthek stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching the tactical display with satisfaction. "Target located," his weapons officer reported. "The human scout ship is hiding behind the large asteroid at coordinates 77 Alpha." Morthek studied the small dot on his screen that represented the enemy vessel. It looked so tiny compared to his massive fleet. "Open communication channels. I will give them one final chance to surrender." On the Wanderer, alarms were ringing throughout the ship. Captain Lee Hyun sat in his command chair looking at the impossible situation on his main screen. 200 alien warships had completely surrounded them. There was nowhere to run. "Captain," Kim Tae said with a shaking voice, "they are trying to communicate with us." "Put them through," Lee Hyun replied calmly. The harsh alien voice filled the bridge, translated by their damaged universal translator. "Human ship. You are surrounded. Surrender immediately. This is your final warning." Lee Hyun stood up slowly. His crew looked at him, waiting for orders. Park Mina had her hand on the engine controls, but they all knew escape was impossible. Choi Yuna was recording everything for the emergency beacon. Kim Tae was trying to boost their communication signal one last time. "This is Captain Lee Hyun of the United Earth ship Wanderer," he said clearly into the communicator. "We are peaceful explorers from Earth. We have committed no crimes against your people. We request safe passage to leave your territory." There was a long pause. Then Grand Admiral Morthek's voice came through the speakers, full of anger and disbelief. "Impossible. No species sends scouts alone. Where is your invasion fleet? You will tell us everything or die." Lee Hyun looked around at his crew one more time. These were good people who had spent their lives trying to make humanity better. They had explored distant stars, mapped new worlds, and searched for places where human children could grow up safely. Now they were going to die because aliens could not understand that some people explored space out of curiosity, not conquest. "We are telling you the truth," Lee Hyun said. "We have no invasion fleet. We are scientists. We came here to study the planets in this system. We mean no harm to anyone." "Lies!" Morthek shouted through the communicator. "No civilization travels 2,000 light years with a single ship unless they have superior technology and military power. You are advanced scouts for an invasion. Surrender now or face the consequences." Park Mina whispered to her captain. "Sir, the emergency beacon is ready. All our data about this system and these aliens will reach Earth in 6 months." Lee Hyun nodded. At least their deaths would serve a purpose. Earth would know about the beautiful worlds in this system, and they would also know about the hostile aliens who claimed them. "We will not surrender our ship," Lee Hyun said into the communicator. "We have done nothing wrong. If you attack us, you will be committing murder against innocent explorers." On his flagship, Grand Admiral Morthek felt frustrated. These humans were either very brave or very stupid. Did they really think he would believe their story about being peaceful explorers? In his 50 years of military service, he had never heard of any species that sent single ships on long journeys unless they were very confident in their military power. "They are stalling for time," Morthek told his officers. "Their main fleet must be approaching. We will destroy them now, before their reinforcements arrive. All ships, this is Grand Admiral Morthek," he announced to his fleet. "The enemy has refused to surrender. All weapons, target the human ship. Fire when ready." 200 Vorthak warships turned their guns toward the small human vessel hiding behind the asteroid. The amount of firepower pointed at the Wanderer could have destroyed an entire city. "Captain!" Kim Tae shouted. "They are charging their weapons." Lee Hyun sat back down in his command chair. "Mina, activate the emergency beacon. Send everything to Earth. Make sure they know we found something beautiful here." Park Mina's fingers moved over her controls. "Beacon activated, Captain. The message is away." The first volley of alien weapons lit up space like a deadly fireworks show. Hundreds of energy beams and missiles streaked toward the Wanderer. The ship's shields flared as they tried to absorb the massive amount of incoming fire. "Shields at 60%! Park Mina reported as the ship shook violently. Lee Hyun grabbed his chair as another wave of weapons fire hit them. "Return fire! All weapons!" The Wanderer's small defensive guns fired back at the alien fleet. Their weapons were designed to fight off pirates and space debris, not massive warships. The shots bounced harmlessly off the aliens' heavy armor. "It's no use, Captain," Kim Tae said as sparks flew from his control panel. "Our weapons cannot hurt them." "Keep firing," Lee Hyun ordered. "We will not go down without a fight." A massive explosion shook the ship as the aliens scored a direct hit on their engine section. Park Mina worked frantically at her controls as warning lights flashed all around her. "Main engines are offline," she reported. "Life support is failing. Hull breach on deck 3. Choi Yuna was thrown from her chair as another blast hit the ship. Blood ran down her face, but she kept working at her science station. "Captain, I am detecting massive energy buildups from their fleet. They are preparing for another coordinated attack." Lee Hyun helped Yuna back to her feet. Half of his crew was injured. His ship was dying, and 200 enemy vessels were preparing to finish them off. But he was still the captain, and his people needed him to be strong. "Kim Tae, can you send one more message?" Lee Hyun asked. "I can try, Captain, but our communications are almost completely destroyed. Send this message on all frequencies. Tell them that Captain Lee Hyun and the crew of the Wanderer died doing what they loved, exploring the galaxy and searching for beautiful new worlds. Tell Earth not to let anyone take this system from humanity. It is too beautiful to lose." Kim Tae nodded and began transmitting the message just as the second massive attack began. This time, the aliens focused all their firepower on the damaged human ship. The Wanderer's shields collapsed completely under the overwhelming assault. "Hull breach on all decks," Park Mina shouted over the sound of alarms and explosions. "The ship is breaking apart." Lee Hyun looked around at his crew one last time. They were all at their stations, still fighting, still trying to do their jobs. Even as their ship died around them, he felt proud to serve with such brave people. "It has been an honor serving with all of you," he said quietly. The final explosion lit up the asteroid field like a new star. When the light faded, there was nothing left of the UES Wanderer except scattered debris and the fading energy signature of her emergency beacon, carrying news of the crew's fate toward distant Earth. Grand Admiral Morthek watched the destruction on his tactical display. The human ship had fought bravely, but it was no match for his fleet. Now he had to prepare for the real threat, the human invasion fleet that would surely come looking for their missing scout ship. Salvage teams. Collect all debris from the enemy vessel, he ordered. I want to study their technology. And send a message to High Command. Tell them we have won the first battle against the humans, but the war is just beginning. As the Vorthak ships began collecting pieces of the destroyed human vessel, none of them noticed the small quantum beacon that had escaped the battle. It was already 6 light years away, carrying Captain Lee Hyun's last message toward Earth. At faster-than-light speed, the message would take 6 months to reach human space. When it arrived, it would change everything. 6 months after the destruction of the Wanderer, the emergency beacon reached Earth's orbital command station. Fleet Admiral Yoon Jae was reviewing daily reports when his aide rushed into his office with an urgent message. Admiral, we just received an emergency beacon transmission from deep space, the aide said breathlessly. It's from Captain Lee Hyun's exploration ship. Yoon Jae looked up from his papers with concern. The Wanderer had been missing for months with no word. Play the message. The holographic display activated, showing Captain Lee Hyun's final recording. Yoon Jae watched in growing anger as he saw 12 peaceful human explorers being surrounded and destroyed by 200 alien warships. He listened to Lee Hyun's calm voice explaining that they had found beautiful worlds, and his final request that Earth not let the aliens keep them. When the message ended, Yoon Jae sat in silence for a long moment. Then he pressed a button on his desk. Get me Admiral Song Min and Admiral Nam Ki. Emergency meeting in 1 hour. And contact the President. We have a situation that requires immediate attention. Within hours, the most powerful military leaders in human space were gathered in the secure briefing room at Earth Command. Admiral Song Min commanded the regular fleet forces, while Admiral Nam Ki led the classified Ghost Fleet, Humanity's Secret Rapid Response Force. Gentlemen, Yoon Jae began, 12 of our people are dead. They were killed while conducting peaceful exploration, murdered by aliens who refused to believe they were not invaders. We are going to respond. Admiral Song Min studied the tactical data from the Wanderer's final battle. 200 ships to destroy 1 research vessel. These Vorthak seem to take no chances, which tells us something important, Admiral Nam Kai added quietly. They used overwhelming force because they were afraid. That suggests they are not as confident as they want to appear. Yoon Jae nodded. I want options. How do we respond to this unprovoked attack on our people? Song Min pulled up a star chart showing human territory and the location where the Wanderer was destroyed. I can have Task Force Retribution ready in 2 weeks. 500 ships from our 1st, 3rd, and 7th fleets. We go in hard and fast, destroy their military forces in that system, and send a clear message that attacking humans has consequences. That is the visible response, Nam Ki said with a slight smile. What about the invisible one? Yoon Jae understood. The Ghost Fleet was humanity's secret weapon, advanced ships with experimental technology that most people did not know existed. What do you have in mind, Nam Ki? While Song Min's task force makes noise at the border of their territory, my ships infiltrate their space using quantum tunnels. We gather intelligence, map their military installations, and identify high-value targets. When the time comes, we hit them where it hurts most. Song Min looked uncomfortable. That sounds like we are planning a war, not just a response to one incident. They made it a war when they murdered our explorers, Yoon Jae said firmly. Captain Lee Hyun and his crew died trying to make peaceful contact. The aliens chose to respond with overwhelming violence. Now they will learn what human overwhelming violence looks like. Over the next weeks, humanity prepared for war. Task Force Retribution assembled at the edge of human space. 500 of Earth's most advanced warships, carrying enough firepower to level planets. The media was told it was a training exercise, but every military officer knew the truth. Meanwhile, Nam Kai's Ghost Fleet began their secret mission. Using experimental quantum tunnel technology, His ships slipped into Vorthak space without being detected. Captain Ryu Da commanded the stealth ship Silent Thunder, leading a group of reconnaissance vessels deep into enemy territory. Admiral, Namkai, this is Captain Ryu Da, she reported during a coded transmission. We have located the Vorthak capital system. Their third strike fleet, the ships that killed the Wanderer, are stationed here as heroes. They are celebrating their great victory over the human invaders. Namki felt his anger grow cold and focused. Continue surveillance, Captain. I want to know everything about their defenses, their ship movements, and their command structure. Yes. Sir. Admiral, there is something else. We found the wreckage of the Wanderer. The aliens put it in a museum as a trophy of their victory over humanity. Nam Ki closed his hands into fists. Seeing their fallen comrade's ship displayed as an enemy prize was an insult that demanded an answer. Document everything, Captain. Every ship, every officer, every person responsible for attacking our people. We will have justice for Captain Lee Hyun and his crew. While the Ghost Fleet gathered intelligence, the Vorthak were making their own preparations. Grand Admiral Morthek had convinced his leaders that the human scout ship was just the beginning of a massive invasion. The Vorthak military was mobilizing their entire fleet, preparing for a war they believed was coming. The humans have not responded to our destruction of their scout ship, Morthek told the Vorthak High Council. This proves they are weak and scattered. We should attack their territory before they can organize a proper defense. The Vorthak leaders agreed. They had ruled their part of the galaxy for centuries through military strength. The idea of humans as a serious threat seemed impossible, especially after seeing how easily they had destroyed the single human ship. But Captain Ryu Da was watching from the shadows as the Vorthak prepared for their invasion. Her stealth ship recorded everything: fleet movements, communication codes, weapon specifications, and battle plans. The aliens had no idea that human eyes were watching their every move. Admiral Nam Ki, Ryu Da reported after 2 months of surveillance. I have complete intelligence on their military forces. Their fleet is powerful but outdated. Their tactics rely on overwhelming numbers rather than advanced technology. Most importantly, they have concentrated their forces for an invasion of human space, leaving their home systems lightly defended. Nam Ki smiled as he reviewed the intelligence reports. The Vorthak had made a classic military mistake. They had committed all their strength to an offensive operation, leaving themselves vulnerable to a counterattack. Excellent work, Captain. Maintain surveillance and wait for orders. Admiral, Songmin's task force will begin their visible approach soon. When the Vorthak see 500 human warships approaching their border, they will think that is our main response. And our real response? Ryuda asked. We are going to give them a lesson in human justice. They murdered peaceful explorers. They put our people's ship in a museum like a hunting trophy. They think humans are weak because we explore space with small, peaceful vessels. It is time to show them what happens when humans decide to stop being peaceful. Fleet Admiral Yoon Jae stood in the command center at Earth, watching the final preparations for Operation Retribution. Task Force Retribution was ready to depart. For Vorthak space, the Ghost Fleet was in position deep in enemy territory. Intelligence reports showed that Captain Lee Hyun's final message had been accurate. The system where he died contained some of the most beautiful and resource-rich worlds ever discovered. Admiral Song Min, you are cleared to begin the operation, Yoon Jae announced. Task Force Retribution is authorized to use all necessary force to respond to the unprovoked attack on the UES Wanderer. Understood, Admiral. Task Force Retribution is moving out. As 500 human warships jumped into hyperspace, heading toward Vorthak territory, Admiral Nam Ki prepared his own forces for the real battle to come. All Ghost Fleet units, this is Admiral Nam Ki, he announced on the encrypted command. Frequency. In 72 hours, we will begin Operation Silent Thunder. Our mission is simple. Destroy every ship, every base, and every officer involved in the murder of Captain Lee Hyun and his crew. The galaxy will learn that humanity remembers its fallen, and human justice is swift and absolute. The die was cast. Humanity was going to war, not for conquest or resources, but for something more important: to honor the memory of 12 brave explorers who died trying to build bridges between the stars. The attack began during the Vorthak Victory Day celebration. Grand Admiral Morthek stood on a platform overlooking the capital city's main square, addressing thousands of cheering citizens. Behind him, holographic displays showed images of the destroyed human ship, presented as proof of Vorthak military superiority. "Citizens of the hegemony," Morthek declared proudly, "6 months ago, we faced a new threat from a species called humans. They sent an advanced scout ship deep into our territory, preparing for invasion. But the Third Strike Fleet was ready. We destroyed their vessel and sent a clear message: the Vorthak hegemony will never bow to alien invaders." The crowd cheered loudly. In the space above the planet, the ships of the Third Strike Fleet hung in perfect formation, their hulls gleaming in the sunlight. These were the same vessels that had surrounded and destroyed the peaceful research ship Wanderer. Morthek continued his speech, unaware that death was approaching from the darkness between the stars. "The humans have shown their weakness by failing to respond to our victory. This proves that they are scattered and afraid. Soon we will launch our own invasion of their territory and claim their worlds for the hegemony." At that moment, Captain Ryuda was watching from the bridge of her stealth ship, the Silent Thunder. She and her crew had been waiting in the outer system for weeks, monitoring Vorthak communications and tracking ship movements. Now the moment for justice had finally arrived. "Admiral Nam Ki, this is Captain Ryuda," she reported on the encrypted channel. "All targets are in position. The Third Strike Fleet is gathered above the capital world, exactly as predicted." "Excellent, Captain," came Nam Ki's reply from his command ship. "Ghost Fleet units, prepare for Operation Silent Thunder. Remember, we are here to deliver justice for Captain Lee Hyun and his crew. Every ship that participated in the attack on the Wanderer will be destroyed." As Grand Admiral Morthek continued his victory speech, space around the Vorthak capital, system suddenly filled with human warships. They appeared without warning, their stealth systems deactivating all at once. 50 Ghost Fleet vessels materialized around the unsuspecting alien fleet like deadly phantoms. "Contact!" shouted a Vorthak sensor operator on Morthek's flagship. "Multiple unknown vessels. They appeared from nowhere." Morthek spun around, his victory speech forgotten. On the tactical displays, he could see dozens of sleek human ships surrounding his fleet. But these were not like the small research vessel they had destroyed months ago. These were warships, built for one purpose: killing enemies. "How did they get so close without being detected?" Morthek demanded. "Unknown, sir. Our sensors showed nothing until they appeared." At the same time, Admiral Song Min's task force, Retribution, dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the system. 500 human warships emerged in perfect battle formation, their weapons already charging for combat. "This is Admiral Song Min of the United Earth Colonial Navy." His voice boomed across all Vorthak communication frequencies. 6 months ago, you murdered 12 peaceful human explorers. Today, you will answer for that crime. On his flagship, Morthek stared at the tactical display in shock. He was facing over 500 enemy warships, appearing from 2 different directions with perfect coordination. The humans had not been weak and scattered after all. They had been planning. "All ships, battle stations," Morthek ordered. "Prepare for combat." But the human attack had already begun. Captain Ryuda's Silent Thunder launched the first shot, a quantum torpedo that struck Morthek's flagship directly in the engine section. The explosion lit up space like a new star. "For Captain Lee Hyun!" Ryuda announced as her ship and the rest of the Ghost Fleet opened fire on the Vorthak Third Strike Fleet. The battle was swift and devastating. The human Ghost Fleet used advanced weapons technology that the Vorthak had never seen before. quantum torpedoes that could pass through enemy shields, energy beams that struck faster than light, stealth systems that made human ships appear and disappear like ghosts. Within minutes, half of the Third Strike Fleet was destroyed or crippled. The remaining Vorthak ships tried to fight back, but they were surrounded and outnumbered. Their weapons, designed for fighting other Vorthak vessels, were no match for advanced human military technology. "Sir, we are taking heavy damage," Morthex, tactical officer, reported. "Our shields are failing! Hull breaches on all decks!" Morthek watched in horror as his proud fleet was systematically destroyed. These were not the weak, scattered humans he had expected. These were professional warriors with superior technology and a burning desire for revenge. On the Silent Thunder, Captain Ryu Da identified Morthek's flagship on her targeting display. This was the ship that had given the order to destroy the Wanderer. This was the vessel commanded by the alien who had murdered 12 innocent explorers. "Target the flagship," she ordered her weapons officer. "Full spread of quantum torpedoes." As the torpedoes raced toward their target, Ryuda opened a communication channel to the dying Vorthak ship. "This is Captain Ryuda of the United Earth, Colonial Navy. 6 months ago, you destroyed the research vessel Wanderer, killing 12 peaceful explorers." Their final message was simple. They had found something beautiful in this system, and they did not want you to take it from humanity. The torpedoes struck Morthek's flagship just as the communication ended. The massive Vorthak battleship broke, apart in a series of explosions, taking the Grand Admiral and his crew with it. But the human attack did not stop there. Over the following hours, Task Force Retribution methodically hunted down every Vorthak military installation in the system. Defense platforms, supply bases, shipyards, and communication arrays were all destroyed with clinical precision. Admiral Nam Ki broadcast a message to the surviving Vorthak forces. "This is Admiral Nam Ki of the United Earth Colonial Navy. Every aid ship, every base, and every officer involved in the unprovoked attack on the UES Wanderer has been identified and will be destroyed. This is not conquest. This is justice. The surviving Vorthak ships tried to escape, but human vessels were faster and better armed. One by one, they were tracked down and eliminated. The message was clear. There would be no escape from human justice." As the battle raged in space, the Vorthak civilians on the planet below watched in terror. Their mighty fleet, which had seemed invincible just hours before, was being systematically destroyed by enemies they had underestimated. Within 12 hours, the entire Third Strike Fleet had been eliminated. Not a single Vorthak vessel involved. In the Wanderer's destruction survived the human counterattack. The space around the capital world was filled with debris and the fading energy signatures of destroyed warships. But the humans were not finished. Over the next several weeks, they hunted down every Vorthak officer and ship that had participated in the attack on Captain Lee Hyun's crew. The message spread throughout Vorthak space. Humanity did not forget its fallen, and human revenge was swift and absolute. Finally, with their military forces in ruins, the Vorthak High Council requested a ceasefire. Fleet Admiral Yoon Jae agreed to negotiations, but only after the Vorthak formally acknowledged their unprovoked attack on a peaceful research vessel. The treaty was signed aboard Admiral Song Min's flagship. The Vorthak agreed to return the wreckage of the Wanderer for proper burial in space, and they formally recognized humanity's right to explore and settle the system where Captain Lee Hyun had died. As the peace agreement was finalized, a new human research vessel entered the system. The UES Wanderer II, commanded by Captain Seo Jin, began surveying the beautiful worlds that the original crew had died to protect. "This is Captain Seo Jin of the UES Wanderer II," she announced as her ship approached the 3 habitable planets. "We are here to continue the work that Captain Lee Hyun and his crew started. This system will be humanity's memorial to brave explorers who died trying to build bridges between the stars." A quantum beacon was placed in orbit around the most beautiful of the 3 worlds. It broadcast a simple message across the galaxy. Here lie the heroes of the UES Wanderer, 12 souls who died exploring the universe in the name of peace. They found something beautiful here and gave their lives to protect it. May their sacrifice never be forgotten. The galaxy had learned an important lesson. Humanity might send their scientists and explorers in small, peaceful ships, but they remembered their fallen. And when humans came seeking justice, they came not with single vessels, but with fleets that could darken the sky. The Vorthak would never again mistake human curiosity for weakness. And across the galaxy, other species took note. The humans were peaceful explorers, but they were also capable of devastating warfare when their people were threatened. Captain Li Hyun and his crew had achieved something in death that they could never have accomplished in life. Their sacrifice had not only secured beautiful new worlds for humanity, but had also established humans as a major power in galactic politics. The age of human expansion among the stars had truly begun.